with Ossie and Ruby. Starring Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis. With their very special guest, E.G. Marshall. This program is made possible by the Program Fund of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Public television stations, and Alcoa, producer of energy-saving, recyclable aluminum.
But there's a storm coming, Doc.
Dr. Aldehyde said that we should wait till midnight.
I'll handle this, Shroudella. The constable has 2 more rounds to make. Then we go to work.
If we try to rob this grave in the rainstorm, we're gonna be slipping and sliding in the mud.
Well, that's life, Gravely, full of ups and downs.
The constable. Quick, hide.
Wait a minute.
All clear. You want to wake the whole village?
It's not me, Doc. It's the tools. They just keep on moving.
It seems that our associate, Mr. Gravely, is afraid, after all these years, as a member of the most prestigious undertaking firm in the country. He's afraid of the dead.
That is a lie, Shroudella. It's just that I never had to rob a grave before.
We are not robbers. We're a corporation. I thought we agreed this is a legitimate business.
I don't care. I am leaving. I'm going back.
Going back to being a pauper? Paupers burying paupers for the rest of our lives?
Shut up! Both of you.
Why can't we do it now, Doc? Before the storm.
The constable is due to make 1 more round, and then...
Just 1 more round, Gravely,
And then we outstay the constable's midnight walk, and we open the grave, and we count our profits. I think the constable would make a more reliable partner, Shroudella. Give him 1/3. He has 10 children.
Yes.
No. It's mine. Well, who builds the fires? Who fetches the water? Who cleans the blood? Who buries the offal? Who does all the dirty work? Me, Gravely. And I want my share.
Very well, then it's settled. We wait until midnight. My first glass of champagne will be raised to you, my friend, Sylvester Van Geld. Oh, I can't forget those eyes. How they followed me. They wouldn't close, even in death.
His eyes?
Tell us about his eyes.
Oh, it's a gruesome tale. No, I think not. I doubt you'd have the stomach for it. But it does suggest a tidy stratagem to make the time pass more quickly. How about a tale from each of us? A curious incident, perhaps. A favorite childhood story.
A tale or two to make the time pass quickly. Excellent idea. I like that. Why not?
Ladies first? After you, my dear mademoiselle.
Stroudella bows to you, doctor, formaldehyde, minister, undertaker, master surgeon, and storyteller.
Very well. If you insist. Late one night, my wife, whom I loved very dearly, came home wet, for it had been raining heavily. I had particularly warned her against going out in such weather, since she was pale and thin and not very strong, but you know how women are. The next day, she coughed for about a week and took to her bed. Doctors came and nodded sagely and wrote and went away. Medicines were brought and some women made her drink them. Her hands were hot and her forehead was burning and her eyes bright and sad. When I spoke to her, she answered me, but I don't remember anything we said. I've forgotten everything. She died. She died, and I very well remember her faint, feeble sigh. They consulted me about the funeral, but I don't remember anything they said. I recollect only the coffin and the sound of the hammer when they nailed her down in it. Oh, God. God. She is there, below, decayed. How horrible. I determined to spend the last night weeping on her grave. I wandered, alone, perfectly alone. Before I knew it, night had fallen. And what a night. There was no moon, only graves. 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 Nothing but graves. I sat down on one of them, for I could not walk any longer. My knees were so weak. Suddenly, it seemed to me that the slab of marble on which I was sitting was moving, as if it were being raised. With a bound, I sprang onto the neighboring tomb, and I saw, yes, I distinctly saw the stone which I had just quitted rise upright. Then the dead person appeared, a naked skeleton, pushing the stone back with his bony arms. I saw it quite clearly, although the night was dark. On the cross I could read, "Here lies John Ollivant, who died at the age of 51. He loved his family, was kind and honorable, and died in the grace of the Lord." The dead man also read what was inscribed on the tombstone. Then he picked up a stone off the path, a little pointed stone, and then he began to scrape the letters carefully. He slowly effaced them, and with the hollows of his eyes, he looked at the place where they had been engraved. Then, with the tip of the bone that had been his forefinger, he wrote in luminous letters, "Here lies John Ollivant, who died at the age of 51. He hastened his father's death by his unkindness, as he wished to inherit his fortune. He tortured his wife, tormented his children, deceived his neighbors, robbed everyone he could, and died wretched." When he had finished writing, the dead man stood motionless, looking at his work. On turning around, I saw that all the graves were open, that all the bodies had emerged from them, and that all had effaced the lines inscribed on the gravestones by the relations, substituting the truth instead. And I saw that all had been tormentors of their neighbors, malicious, dishonest, hypocrites, liars, rogues, calumniators, envious, that they had stolen, deceived, performed every disgraceful, every abominable action they could. These good fathers, these faithful wives, these devoted sons, these chaste daughters. They were all writing at the same time on the threshold of their eternal abode the truth, the terrible and the holy truth of which everybody was ignorant while they were alive. And I thought that she also must have written something on her tombstone. And now, running around among the half-opened coffins, the corpses and the skeletons, I groped my way like a blind man, reading the names. And then at last, I found the grave of my beloved. Then I saw her. I recognized her at once, although her face was covered with a winding sheet. And on the marble cross where once before I had read, "She loved, was loved, and died," I now saw, having gone out in the rain one day in order to deceive her loving husband, she caught cold and died. It appears that they found me at dawn, lying on the grave, unconscious.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
But life must go on.
Oh, Forum. Quelle tragique.
I had me a woman once. She, too, proved unfaithful.
One look at you and I can understand why.
Why doesn't that constable come on and make that
Stay
last...
away from that gate, you new-footed clod.
Shaldella, gravely.
If we don't watch out,
New-footed cloud.
he'll have us all in jail.
Wait until I get my share.
Patience, my friends, patience. Now, Shroudella, let us have your tale.
My tale is not mine own to give. It's about a woman who was not at all like me. Yeah, nobody knows when she came. Nobody knows when she went. It is said that she lived most of her life in the wind. And her name was Molly. Old Molly Means. Now, Old Molly Means was a hag, witch, child of the devil, the dark in sitch. Her heavy hair hung thick in braids, and her cold black eyes was dark as pitch. Old Molly, Molly, Molly Means. Imp at 3, wench at 11. She counted her husbands to the number 7. Old Molly, Molly, Molly Means. Where is the ghost of Molly Means? You know, some say she was born with a veil on her face so she could look through unnatural space, through the future and through the past, and charm a body or an evil place, and every man could well despise the evil look in her cold black eyes. Old Molly, Molly, Molly Means. Dark is the ghost of Molly Means. Now, when the tale began to spread of evil and of holy dread, her black hand arts and her evil powers, how she cast her spells and called the dead. The young'uns was afraid at night, and farmers feared their crops would blight. Old Molly, Molly, Molly Means, cold as a ghost of Molly Means. And then, one dark day, she put a spell on a young gal bride, just come to dwell down the lane from Molly's shack. And when her husband come riding back, his wife was barking like a dog and on all fours like a common hog. Oh, Molly, Molly, Molly Means. Where is the ghost of Molly Means? Where is Molly Means? No. And when the neighbors came, they went away and they said she'd die before break of day. But her husband held her in his arms and swore he'd break the wicked charms. He'd search all up and down the land and turn the spell on Molly's hand. Oh, Molly, Molly, Molly Means. Sharp is the ghost of Molly Means. So he rode all day and rode all night. And at the dawn, he come in sight of a man who said he could break the spell and cause the evil thing to dwell on Molly Means, to bark and bleed till she died at the hands of her evil deed. Oh, Molly, Molly, Molly Means. This is the ghost of Molly Means. And sometimes at night, she rides along in the shadow of the trees and the wintry breeze. You can hear her holler and moan and cry, and her voice is thin and her moan is high, and her cackling laugh or her barking call bring terror to the young and old. Oh, Molly, Molly, Molly Means! Leave is the ghost of Molly Means!
I'm getting out of here.
Look, we're all getting out of her, but you leave now, chances are you'll run smack into the constable. Come on, man. Tell us your story.
I do know a story, Doc, about a widow woman who didn't know whether she really was a widow woman at all. Her husband, Primus, was a drinking man, and one day he just up and disappeared. A meeting was called, and the people searched everywhere, high and low, for Primus, even down as far as the edge of Demi-Doom Swamp. But Demi-Doom Swamp was where the Conjure Man lived, with the buzzards and the gators and the ghosts, they say, of 100 dead men who died during slavery time. So nobody dared go near Demi-Doom Swamp, even in the daytime. And Primus was never seen or heard from again. Now, there was this cotton farmer named Dent who wanted to marry the widow woman, but every time he went calling, he run smack up against Primus's old mule, big, ugly, mean, evil, sucking his teeth at Dent, rolling his eyes at Dent, and mumbling something under his breath every time Dent would get anywhere near the widow woman. But Dent was determined that nobody, not even that mule, was gonna come between him and the woman he loved. One day, he grabbed the widow woman and he kissed her on his lip. And that mule backed up to Dent and kicked him so hard and so high, it landed Dent way over the fence into the big pit. And Dent got up and he was mad. He brushed himself off. He saddled that mule and he jumped up on top of him. And the widow woman said, "Wait, where you going with my mule?" And Dent said, "I'm taking him down to Demi-Doom Swamp to see the Conjure Man." And he rode out of there faster than a possum with his pants on fire. Now, that was high noon when they got to the edge of the swamp. But, like I told you, even daylight don't like to spend too much time down in Demi-Doom Swamp. They hadn't gone more than 100 yards before they run smack up into the midnight. So dark in there, the dark itself was scared to make a move. They turned around, they wandered round and round, getting deeper and deeper into Demi-Doom Swamp, and they went on until it was so dark they couldn't see, and they stumbled down into a big pit. When they fell on the ground and woke up and looked around, they were surrounded by 100 dead men with burning eyes, and every time they spoke, their mouths spit fire. "Farmer, farmer, on the mule, where you think you going, fool?" And Dent said, "I'm going to see the Conjure Man." "The Conjure Man? Well, in that case, let him pass." And Dent and the mule, they passed on by, and they looked up, and they seen a big light like a fire way on up ahead, and that mule took out like he was trying to fly. Dent tried to hold him back, but the mule just kept on running and running and running till he come up to the fire, and there in the middle of the fire was the Conjure Man himself. And the Conjure Man said, "Whoa, Primus! Whoa, Primus, whoa!" The mule stopped so quick, Dent flew over his head and landed right in the fire with the Conjure Man, but the fire didn't burn him. The old mule just hung his head down low. The Conjure Man said, "Quick, farmer," he croaked, "take me back inside my shack before I die." And Dent took the Conjure Man inside his old shack, and he laid him down on a pallet in the corner. "Quick," said the Conjure Man, "take that mixing bowl and do exactly as I tell you." And Dent took the mixing bowl and, following the Conjure Man's instructions, began to mix the various ingredients: buzzard grease, polecat musk, graveyard dirt, and coffin rust, gopher bones, and black cat bones, and the clotted blood, the livid heart, of a little black virgin, billy goat. And while Dent was making the mixture, the Conjure Man kept on talking. "That mule that you riding is not a mule, he's a man. He's Primus, the widow woman's husband. He owed me money, and he wouldn't pay, and he stole my goat, and he took him away, and he ate him, and for that I punished. Oh, on Primus, I made him a jackass! But now I got to die, and I don't want that on my conscience. So you take this potion outside and you rub it on that mule by the light of the fire. And that's exactly what Dent did. He took the potion outside and he began to rub it all up and down that mule. And everywhere the potion touched, the mule became a man. On his head, on his eyes, on his ears, on his mane, on his back, on his belly, on his tail, on his rump, and down his forelegs. But just as Dent got down to the last foot, the potion ran out. So Dent got up. He went back into the shack to help to get some more potion. But the Conjure Man was already dead. He ran back to the fire, but he couldn't find Primus. Primus! 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 But it was too late. Primus had disappeared again. But, my friends, they still tell me that on some nights down in Demi-Dune Swamp, if you look sharp, you can see old Primus walking abroad like a natural man, except that his left foot is still mostly mule.
How droll, Mr. Gravely.
How rich in native tongue and local color.
How historically revealing.
How autobiographically pertinent.
How anatomically apt and to the point.
What are you two talking about?
Your foot, of course.
The one on your left hind leg, of course.
You might perhaps get that foot repaired or even replaced. I'll be glad to do it for a small share of your share.
Enough now, enough, Doc.
Steady, steady, my friend.
I'm gonna get out of
Now,
here.
don't be so sensitive. What happened to your sense of greed?
It scarcely behooves Gravely, Aldehyde, and Shroudella to leave our client so fat and unrelieved.
I'm warning you, I'm gonna go.
Now, suppose alone, out there in the dark, Sylvester's two bloody eyes should follow you, as they did me.
Sylvester's eyes?
His eyes.
After the wake, when all the guests had left Sylvester's house, I remained alone in the room to close the coffin, or so they thought. The old-fashioned safe in the corner fell quickly to my skill, and there it was. 6 bars of gold, 6 of silver, coins, diamonds, pearls, banknotes and bills of high denomination, thick, heavy packages of stocks and bonds, all payable to bearer, all negotiable. The plan was simple, to put it all, every bit of it, there in the coffin with Sylvester. So, should they discover their loss and insist on searching my person, my bag, or even our establishment, nothing would be found. I knelt before the safe. But all of a sudden, I knew that old Sylvester had opened his eyes and that those very eyes were watching me. I ran quickly to the coffin, and it was true. Sylvester's eyes, cold and dead, but somehow watching every move I made. As is the common practice, I pinched the eyelids shut and turned back to the safe. But no, I felt them. How I cannot tell you, but I felt them open again. I took the glue we undertakers use for that purpose and sealed the lids together. They would not stay. Desperate now, I took my surgeon's needle and strongest catgut, and I sutured his eyelids together with double stitches. But before I completed the second eye, the first had pulled until the sutures broke. Sylvester's 2 dead eyes still staring up at me out of the coffin. But now I began to sweat. Any minute they would come back to see what was taking so long. It occurred to me, the one and only thing I could do to close those glaring eyes. Quickly I took my scalpel, and lifting each lid in turn, I reached down, cut the eyeball free. Sylvester's eyes would bother me no more. I emptied the safe, putting everything I could inside the coffin, and then I closed it tight. Everything, that is, except Sylvester's eyes. I have them with me now for your inspection. The constable! Quick, hide! Come on! Gravely, hide! 'Cause, 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 He's gone. Quickly, my friends. Shroudell will bring the lantern. Here, Gravely, get busy. 6 gold bars underneath his pillow.
Silver bars just beneath his feet.
And rings, pins, jewels, and precious stones stashed beneath his kidney.
And sewn within the satin lining.
2 million more in negotiable stocks.
Bonds payable to the bearer on demand. What?
Come.
What? Have you...
Where is it?
What? What? There! You fool!
Idiot!
What? What have I done?
Where is it, Gravely? Where is it?
Before
Where
you
is it?
rip out your lying, thieving tongue, what have you done with it?
The stocks, the bonds, the negotiable securities.
The gold and silver you made the coffin where?
Sure, I made the coffin, but you made the lining, and the 3 of us together stashed the loot and put the body inside.
Oh,
Where is it? Where is it?
it's impossible. Impossible. What? With our own hands, we put it in here.
With our own eyes, we saw it there.
This body. Not once has this body and this coffin been out of our sight. Not once!
No way. No way at all. Could it have been taken unless...
Unless?
Unless somehow
he managed to... Oh, but no. That's impossible, my friends. You can't take it with you. Oh, yes, you can.
This program was made possible by the Program Fund of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, public television stations, and Alcoa, producer of energy-saving, recyclable aluminum.